Hey class, I wanted to go over a few things about what decisions can be made in a group. The first kind of decision is a decision of fact. There's a fact that is in question. Most of the time, this is actually decided through research. You research it, you find what's true and what's not true, and there you go from there. A few times there are facts that will be in question. Let's face it, we don't know everything. We only know probability on many different things that are out there. All right? Does Bigfoot exist? Probably not, but technically, biologically, it could. There is nothing about the description of Bigfoot that makes him biologically impossible. So, small chance. Probably if you're in a group, you should act like he doesn't exist. It's how our, Department of the Interior and the EPA has done things forever since they've existed. But they're doing it on a percentage chance. Small percentage, we're going to act like it's not true, etc. But a lot of things you can actually just research. These are probably the easiest ones to deal with because really all you have to do is research and make sure you don't let your confirmation bias override good research. The next thing is conjecture. Conjecture is predicting the future. It is actually, when we debate things, something we lump in with fact, but for purposes of a group, it's a lot different. When you're debating something, you're only debating the question mark stuff. And let's face it, most facts, it's not about a question mark as in no one knows. It's just we don't know. So as a group, let's face it, facts, you research. Conjecture is predicting the future. There is no one who knows that, except maybe Doctor Who. That's about it. All right. And so you try to gather evidence and then you create arguments as to what you think will happen. This can include things like what's going to happen with the stock market. Currently, numerous investment groups like Goldman Sachs is trying to figure out where the stock market is going to go, especially given current times. All right. These are questions of conjecture that you make a decision on. And they're usually based solely on probability. Is there a lot of research? But there's also questions. The next thing is one of value. Is something good or bad? This also is about just what the group values themselves. What matters to them? All right. There are companies that have decided that profit is not the only thing that matters to them. There are other things that matter. And in fact, one of the reasons many companies try to then go private is so they can remove profit being the only factor. The only factor being profit and how much the stock costs. Well, if you become privately owned, you don't have to think that. And you can think more long-term and actually make the company do things that personally people want it to do. And then you get into things like groups working for nonprofits, our school board, what values do they think the community college should have, Long Beach Community College. These are all important things. And then the final one is policy, actually getting things done. All right. And these usually do also involve questions of fact. They involve research. They involve questions of value, because when you decide to enact something, you're enacting something that you think is valuable and is good. All right. And then finally, they will also involve a plan of action. And that's where we end up going into the idea of problem solving, because a lot of policy issues are about solving a problem. The fact is, if things are good enough now, we don't often change them. We change things when there's a problem. And that's why we look at most policy actions through a problem-solving paradigm. Look further down the page to find out more about that.